Hi, I want to talk about where we are now in September 2025 in the world of image generation with AI. And it's a really exciting field which I've been learning a lot about. My name is Martin. I have another few channels here, but this is a channel which I'm focusing on AI at the moment. And you will see how I'm using certain AI image generators here which have come out recently. This here is by Google, and it's the Gemini 2.5 Flash for images. You can see here in the corner, and the code name is Nano Banana. You can look it up that way. People were extremely excited about this model, and I'll show you why. But first, I have given it a prompt, and this is the prompt here in the style of the classic 90s anime like Akira, from a top-down perspective. Make a blonde woman riding a motorcycle trying to escape from a menacing robot shooting lasers at her. The setting is the streets of Neo Tokyo, and this is what the model came up with, right? I ran this prompt to two more models. Here is the latest generation model by Alibaba. Qwen 3, I think, is the image generation model. In this case, same exact prompt, and this is what it came up with. I also want to feature another model which came out a few months ago, but this model is called Flux 1 Krea, and that is kind of a collaboration between Flux and Krea, and this is the same exact prompt and what it came up with. Now, it's a bit subjective of how you like this or not. This is actually a different aspect ratio, so I'm going to change it and regenerate this one. But I want to explain what I'm seeing here. All of these are state-of-the-art and the latest models. However, this model here, if you look closely at the image, there's a bit of grain. It's impressive in the sense that it built an exciting world. It makes few errors. However, artistically, it's not very well finished. Like the finish on this, it's a little grainy, and I'm not 100% into the look of this. Meanwhile, from Qwen, what we got is a very polished and shiny kind of look. It actually did not listen to my prompt exactly. To me, this is a great image, and it's accurate in a lot of ways. It's anime, however, it's not classic 90s. It doesn't have that kind of look. Instead, it has a shiny 3D CG image here going on. And so it didn't really adhere much to the styles. So locally, I'm trying this Krea model. And this model, to me, is actually the closest to the stylistic prompt, which is the 90s classic animation like Akira. However, it's based on an older model, which is Flux, and while it does what I'm asking, it doesn't actually build the full world that I'm asking for, and it doesn't make as few errors as the other model. So you see, lasers are shooting out in different directions. Like I'm asking for lasers, but two of them do come out from the robot, but these two are from random places, though these are errors. Now, if I remove the top-down perspective prompt and redo this test, we shall see what we get. So I'm going to remove that from everywhere here. Actually, here I'm going to start new chats because they remember what I've asked for previously. So I'm removing the angle prompt in particular and trying that again. Actually, I made that wrong. So with this prompt, I have to select the generation, and I'm going to regenerate this without the angle, because the angle throws off the models a bit. Some of them can do it, some of them cannot. So here again, in the Google AI Studio, I'll try to use this Nano Banana. Up here, I've selected it, and I will regenerate. Qwen is pretty fast, and you can see it's very quickly made it. And again, so it removed the top down. It actually kind of is looking low now. It chose a composition of its own. Again, it's very shiny and 3D. You can see reflection and water and all this stuff. It's nice, but it's not really that classic looking. You can tell more so this is AI. It's kind of shiny and plastic looking. In the same time, Google, again, it has this kind of grainy finish which it adds, which is not that professional looking. It's a nice scene. Now here too you can see some errors where lasers are coming out of crazy places. And here now I removed the composition, the angle, and this image has less errors. So I think the angle was problematic for this model. And again, this model, Flux One Krea, gives me the most classic anime look. Now I want to go a bit further because these models here, the Google model is actually more of an editing model. So I can now say remove the lasers from where they are and make them strictly, actually I'll use only, come out of the robot's eyes, for example. And I'll run that again. And I will do the same test for Qwen. However, this does it. You see, Google understands this just communication, how I can just simply say verbally what I want in the same chat. And you see, slightly off center, actually, it came more so from the lips of the robot, not so much the eyes. But it did change the image, it edited it. Now with Qwen, I'm stuck in this image generation. So what I have to do is I have to download this, and then I have to start a new session where I pre-select the image editing. Here's image edit, and that will trigger another model trolley, which is called the Qwen edit. And I will put that back in, and I will use the same language, and I will regenerate that image and see what I get. In the case of this, I have to actually boot up a different workflow, because if you're not familiar, this is Comfy UI. This is me locally running models and workflows. So I can go and use a model called context. Let's see here. There's context basic, and hopefully it will allow me. I think I've downloaded this model, but let me see here. I want to use the same language and tell it to edit the robot. Now it looks like I do have the context model here, and it is now working on it. Let's see what the other two are doing in the same time. Here's the edit by Qwen, and you see that it did move one of the lasers from its face, not really eyes, and there's another one I didn't ask for that's coming out of its ribcage. The style remained pretty coherent as well. And here again, now if I say something more crazy here, make the girl jump off the bike, let's see what will happen in the Google Studio. Spinning at the moment. I'm casting and I'm editing here, so I don't know if my computer can handle this actually. If so, I can pause my video and then I can regenerate this test. In the same time, see here, Google was able to make the girl jump off, and by chance she got shot with a laser straight through her head. Whether you wanted that as the image creator or not, I don't know, but that's what happened. Now here, if I keep this image, I'll download it again. Too high resolution, that's interesting. Its own image it's creating, but it tells me it's too high resolution, so that's a strange thing about Qwen. I have to start a new session again, say image edit, and input this image again. Not very smooth workflow. And then I say make the girl jump off the bike and see what Qwen gives me. Meanwhile, I'm interfacing with the Omni Flash model, which is kind of like a one model to rule them all, and it delegates the tasks to these other models. In this case, the image edit mode is handled by the Qwen edit model, and I'm having to manually switch them because I don't believe they've made it so this Omni Flash model, at least in this chat UI here, can actually handle the task delegation accurately. Now it did what I asked for, and it made the girl jump off the bike. It kept the lasers nearby. This time she's not shot through the head, but almost very, very close. Retains the plastic looking image, which is not truly classic looking. And this one consistently reproduced the same style which I asked for, but it does add this kind of unprofessional looking grain look to it, which I don't like very much. You would have to clean that up if you wanted to, but both of these models are very recent and have a great amount of excitement to them because of their capabilities to edit these images with just your text language. Unfortunately, my computer is not powerful enough to cast and generate images in the same time. So what I'm going to do is pause my cast and then I'll tell you what this third model created for me. Okay, so I was able to get this Flux Krea model to edit, and I did that by using the editing version of Flux, which is called Flux Context. And I had to spend some time because it wasn't really listening that well as well as the other ones. First I had to remove the lasers. Then I told it again, shoot from the robot's eyes, but again they shot from the chest. And that's the case with most of these models. This one kept it one from the chest, and this one actually did it. So the Google one listened the best. Now, my verdict here when I try all these latest image generation models is that I like the artistic look of this one the most. It listened to me the best when it comes to the style I wanted, the art of it being the classic 90s anime. However, it did the worst when it came to editing and it wasn't listening. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna try to throw my image from this model right here, and I'm gonna take that image and put it inside of Qwen and the Nano Banana by Google, and see what I get that way, because it could be a lot easier if I simply generate with the art style I like and then make edits with these better editing models. So make lasers shoot from the robot's eyes towards the girl, and likewise I'll do the same in Google. Nano Banana is selected, upload the same image with the same prompt. I don't know why that doubled up right here. Let's see what Qwen is doing. Nothing yet. And here I have that. I will copy my prompt and I will now run it in Google. Now Qwen generated, and it did do what I told it. It shot from the eyes towards the girl, and it mostly kept my style. This is a little too CG neon that was made again by Qwen, but it's not terrible, and it kept the overall style of the rest of the image there. Google, on the other hand, failed the request this time. The lasers look nicely in tune, but they're not from the eyes. So you see how they are struggling fully to fulfill my request. It looks like Qwen is pretty good at editing, but it makes things very shiny. For the second time, Google simply fails. Let's try now. Remove the lasers from where they are. Make them come from the robot's face instead. Trying to get the right prompt to make it fulfill my request. Half the battle with AI, as you may well know. But it is not really doing it. That's really interesting. It is failing. So hard to tell you really there's a clear winner here. This was Qwen, actually did it kind of messy, and the laser is a little shiny. Here, better stylistic altogether, did not come from the face. So yeah, that's where we stand kind of with image generation, and I can get much fancier with it, but this is a quick test for you. Now I want to spotlight a different kind of model which is getting to come out. It's still in the waiting list, but it's by this World Labs, and it's a world building type of model that can generate these worlds from a prompt. And you can see here Peter Levels is using it for creating a historic type of city just from a prompt. He's given it a map and he's told it how it should look like Amsterdam in 1670, and it generated it for him. It can do more than that. Obviously, people are building different kinds of worlds. It's currently a beta. It's behind a wait list, so I've applied, so I cannot demo it to you myself. But you can see where things are going, where it can be now creating worlds. You'll see how specific we have to get to make them. So this one thing which people have really been excited about. I'm excited about it myself too. Another kind of image model is a 3D image model that I want to show you. Just came out on the 16th. Is this 3D model by Hunyuan, which is the Tencent AI division, and you can see how they're able to generate 3D models. And they've even released the 3D Studio where you can go online and do this. And I have to say that's impressive stuff. You can get your image assets and create 3D stuff for your games through AI. I don't know how coherent or consistent things are, but that's another big thing that's been coming out and people are very excited about. Tencent themselves, just like Alibaba, have a 3D generation model, image generation model, video generation model. They're trying to do the full package. They're competing each other, and again, they are releasing everything open source, which seems to be what China is doing altogether. We shall see how their strategy plays out. In the same time, some of the American models are coming out open source, but they're normally late. Basically, they're early versions. They're not really releasing the latest and greatest open source in America. While China is. All this stuff is just coming out straight open source, which is kind of phenomenal. All right, so yeah, that's the roundup for today. Subscribe and like for more news in the AI world.